Hello, Sammy, my
Gentlemen,
friend.
gentlemen, how's it going?
Everything is good. It's good.
Yeah,
Good.
all good.
Yeah.
Not good as you,
You guys
but we are
say,
good.
yeah, yeah. Let me see. I was trying to figure it.
So Sam,
Ah,
today we are starting our first UMC Talks. It's a
okay,
series.
right.
This is the
Okay.
first one, and you have been invited to this moment, special moment, right? And so
All right.
the responsibility about it. So please introduce yourself.
All right.
Who is
So,
Sam? Who is a guy named Sam?
some guy named Sam.
Some
Well,
guy named
some guy named Sam. So, yeah, that's one of the, I guess, nicknames that I use for myself. Lives in Canada. You know, Vito is a good friend of mine. He's like my brother. Um, so it's like 10 years ago now, right? So, like 10 years ago. Yeah, we lived together. We met each other at a church. Um, like what is that? How you guys say Grecia or something like that? Is that how you guys say it
Igreja.
in Portuguese?
Igreja.
In Grecia? Yeah, we
Igreja.
met each other at a church in Toronto, and he became my roommate. And we lived together for a half a year, but it was like it wasn't that long, but we've never stopped talking since. We've just become a part of each other's lives. He's pretty much like a brother. He's met my family, my mother, my father, my brother. Um, you know, and I've met his family. I've been to Brazil now 4 times because of him. Still can't speak Portuguese. His mom laughs at me for that, but um, yeah, and he's been here several times, and when he comes up, he stays with me, and we just move around together. So I think it's pretty much a testament to his do, like as a what you guys are doing, giving the opportunities you guys give people to come to to have a different experience, open up their life experience, and you think you're coming here to maybe just learn another language or see another place, but it's an example of how you can meet some people or have experiences that's life changing and life lasting. You know what I mean? And I'm you speak to it. Our relationship, is just it means a lot to me, and same for him. So yeah, that's
Sam,
some guy named Sam.
don't make me cry over here, Sam, please.
Yeah, so
Sam,
that's
if you can get close to some internet, a better internet, Wi-Fi, because I think your internet is going on and off. And I don't know about the
yeah,
audio. For
I
me,
think it's your internet, Victor. For me,
yeah,
it's
are you
totally
sure?
perfect here.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. That's great to hear. I'm sorry. That's good. So this shirt, Sam gave it to me. Raptors. Raptors is
yeah.
the
The
NBA
Raptors.
team from
Who you got
Toronto.
on there? I think what number you got on? I think you got Siakam. I think you got Siakam shirt. Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah, I can see. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam. Yeah,
So
there you go.
Sam,
Representing.
you came here to the World Cup,
That's
right?
right. I did.
But
I did. I did. I did.
when Sam arrived here, it was the game Brazil against
Yeah,
Germany, 7-1.
Germany. Yeah,
So
yeah. That's
we
it.
call Sam
Sammy,
as
come
cold
on,
feet.
man.
He was
That's
very
what they call me. They call me Pe
enthusiastic.
Frio. They call me Pe Frio now.
Pé
That's my
frio,
nickname.
pé frio.
Oh,
Yeah. So it was hilarious, right? So you know,
it, it,
we
it
were
was
we were
your first time here, Sammy.
that was my that was my that was my second time in Brazil. Yeah. So the first time I went down, I came down with another good friend of mine who, like Vito knows all my friends now. I came down with my friend Dom. I remember, Dom. And so Dom came down twice with me, actually. Dom came down the first time with me, and he came down like, you know, and then Dom came down with his wife when Vito got married. So all three of us were at the wedding. But yeah, the trip, the second trip was hilarious. That was my first time going down by myself, and that was interesting. You know, but what happened was I'm in Toronto and I'm watching the games, and Brazil almost lost to Colombia, and I'm like, man, this is gonna spoil my trip because I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go down at the beginning of the World Cup or at the end of the World Cup. So I couldn't decide like how I wanted to do it. You know, do we start it off with a bang and then leave in the middle? I'm like, oh man, if Brazil does really well, I'm not gonna want to leave. It's gonna be tough. So you know, I said I'm gonna go down at the end. You know, and so I went down. Somebody said I need to come to Salvador. I was in Salvador. Salvador is where I go all the time. Anyway, so
He's baiano.
Anyway, so
He's almost a
I
baiano.
know. Yeah,
It's
you know what I
almost
mean?
baiano.
I'm almost, you know, I love the food. But yeah, so I went down at the end, and I get down, and it was really festive. Like Vito had to do a little running around. I always hang out with Vito, and Vito like just running around to the bank, or he's got to do something for the escritorio. Remember that argument? So got to run around, do his little things. So I'm running around, I'm hanging out with him, and everybody's decked. They got the Brazil, the colors on. Everybody's happy. And then when the game starts, and people are playing drums on the top of the building, like everything's cool, you know. And then the first goal goes, and people, you know, they're a little upset.
I don't want to remember that.
Yo, it was horrible, man.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, it was just depressing. People were just depressed. And Vito and I went for a ride in the city. There was nobody on the street. And like literally nobody. And like we were just driving, and I don't know what happened, but I look up in the sky and like somebody let like one firecracker off. It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. Yeah. And what about your third time? Do you remember?
That was your wedding, man.
The wedding, okay, the wedding. And the fourth time was the best one, right? The last one, the fourth.
That's where I met Murillo. So yeah, that's where we went. I met you, Murillo. Yeah, it was amazing. That was the last time. I managed to get a trip in 2020 before the pandemic started. So that was last year, Carnival. Went down there.
It was your
Which
first time in São Paulo, Sammy, or not?
Pardon me?
In São Paulo. It was your first time?
First time in Sao Paulo, yes.
And what did you feel here? Did you like comparing like Salvador and Rio and other places here in Brazil?
They're all great. They all have their own like charm, right?
And do you think it's quite similar to Toronto? Like for example, Salvador the weather is so hot. They have beaches and everything else. And here in São Paulo, I think in my mind, it's kind of similar to Toronto. Do you agree with me?
I mean, it would be more similar to Toronto than maybe any of the other spots in Brazil that I went to. You know, there's like Toronto doesn't have. So maybe, you know, actually I've never even been to Vancouver. So Vito's been to Vancouver. So there you go. I'm a Canadian. I've never been to Vancouver, and Vito's been. But maybe Rio's a little bit more like Vancouver than say Toronto. You know, there's a little more outdoor activity, stuff like that. But I'd say Sao Paulo is a lot like Toronto or Montreal. You know, very much metropolitan.
Yeah.
You know, lots to do. You know, historic. You know what I mean? More historic than Toronto or.
And it is a busy city
Montreal
as well.
Oh, huge city, huge city. My favorite part of there was I went to a tour, and they took me to those indoor malls. What are they called? They're special sort of areas where they have like a hockey one, they have like a rock and roll one, they have one for cameras. They're little malls.
I remember.
In São Paulo.
But I didn't
Oh
go
yeah,
there.
yeah, in
He went
the city
by
center.
himself.
City Center. Yeah. What's the? How do they call it? What do they call them over there?
Galeria do Rock.
Yeah. So they had the Galleria did the hockey, and then I went to the discos one.
Yeah, I remember the place that I met you.
Yeah, I was there like 2 days.
Yeah, I don't remember the name, but it was quite close to the center of São Paulo.
Cool, man. And the food.
Yeah. And another thing that I wanna ask you, Sammy, you you are Canadian and you don't speak Portuguese well, not yet.
No,
so
not at all.
You have some, not yet. You are learning, but
I'm learning.
You have some difficulties to I don't know to get some information or something like that, or something like that to speak in Portuguese or in English here in Brazil.
To travel by yourself as you have done.
It's challenging, I will say. More challenging in Salvador than like Sao Paulo or Rio, right? Because I guess I have to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Right. Please.
They're not as used to visitors and stuff like that in Salvador. Salvador's like a hidden gem, People, the average person, if you mention Brazil, even here, if you mention Brazil and you say Salvador, they're like, El Salvador? I'm like, no. Salvador, right? And then you got to explain to them. But, I mean, you can get around. You just have to be,
Yeah, but I asked you this
Careful.
because Brazilian people are they are so afraid to go to Canada, for example, and get a lot of difficulties to get an information, to have a talk or everything else. How do you see immigrant people in general, not only Brazilian people, but who doesn't speak English and go to Canada? How do you guys, Canadian people, bring these people to you?
Torontonians, we're used to, our city is pretty much built up of immigrants. Maybe you want to repeat that in Portuguese, but our city is has a lot of immigrants. We're probably the most multicultural. They say that we're the most multicultural city in the world. So we're used to immigrants all the time. And, my parents are immigrants,
Yeah.
So most of the people who I'm a first generation Canadian. So a lot of the people who are here, even especially in Toronto, there are a lot of, first generation immigrants, from a lot of different backgrounds. So you shouldn't feel intimidated. If you want to come to Toronto, if there's a place you want to go to in the world and you're an immigrant, and you want to have an experience where you want to, learn English and be exposed to North American culture, Toronto might be the place.
Yeah.
It might be the best place to be.
And also the best accent for me as well.
The best?
I mean,
accent.
The best accent. I guess we have the most, would be generic, I guess, accent of like people who speak English.
Yeah. I feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that Toronto is a city of opportunities. I have experienced this in my life, as I've met some at church. And we had the Project 10. It was a project of young people, and we get together. I became once a leader for a while. A leader. Think about Brazilian in Canada, leader presenting. Remember, Sam, presenting the show, having mistakes of English, but people were laughing about, not about my English, but laugh about the moment, because it was a fun, just having fun. And we Brazilians sometimes we judge too much ourselves. We start judging ourselves about our English. We don't speak. No, you speak. trust in yourself. The confidence, the self confidence helps to improve and to have the conversation, right? And so that's the point. When you go to Toronto, as is the city of immigrants, multicultural, people are facing the same challenge, that is speak English. Of course, they all want to improve the English, and part of the city are in the same situation, so they are not judging if you speak English, if accent or no accent. Of course, people has to understand, and you have to understand people. This is the main point. And as I was Sam's roommate, Sam has he can say about that. I was, hey Sam, I want to speak like you. I want to. Hey Sam, Vitor, your English is much better than my Portuguese, so don't worry,
I always
man.
say that. I always say that. Your English is much better than my
Much
Portuguese.
better than my Portuguese. So.
So I always say that I've never my my Portuguese is what Lixo, but
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 you
like
must improve. You must improve.
I
You
I,
have to
I,
come
I
here again,
yeah, I
Sammy.
know. I speak Portuguese.
Portuguese.
I
Wonderful.
speak Portuguese. That's what I did. But yeah, no, I would say that though, if there are people out there that want to, do something like that, get a life experience. And you're not the only one I met, Vito. I remember, like, I have, we still talk to a
Lucas,
lot. Lucas,
Lucas,
we still talk to, we still have our chat with Ricardo,
Maluquinho, Chevy, Silver, who
Kirby,
lives in Toronto for 10
Silvio. We
years.
still keep
IT,
in touch. I
yeah.
went out and I went out in Sao Paulo, right? In in Recife, right? So it was really cool. Like that was the last trip. I went to Salvador. Um, then I was in Rio for a bit. Then I went to Recife, and then I went to Sao Paulo, and then I came back here. So it was really cool. And like I said, each place is a little different. Um, I didn't get to see it as much as Recife. We went there specifically to Sao Paulo, but it was really, really, really cool. Like Rio's just like just the landscape and just it's just breathtaking to be to just be there. It's crazy. And then there's all those sites you can go see. Lapa was cool. Went to Lapa, went to a couple blocos out in Lapa. So those were pretty
Lapa.
nice.
You know
Uh,
Hill much more than me, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. And it was good because and again, just like you're talking about that connection, I'm on the street and I was talking to somebody and they heard me speaking and these two girls are there and she's like, Toronto. Oh, they're Brasilera, and they started talking to me. Yeah, I lived in Toronto. I lived here. Blah blah blah. And then as we're speaking, another guy walks by and he hears us mention some streets in Toronto, and he stopped. And I ended up going to a party with him that night. We went to the Blocko, uh, in
Yeah.
Lapa. So like
Nice,
it
man.
was
And
in Rio.
Sammy, just comparing another thing about São Paulo and Toronto. But we
Mm,
know that big cities like São Paulo, New York, Mexican City, and
mm,
a lot
mm,
of big cities, uh, they are famous because they are not so safe.
mm, mm.
So here in Brazil, in general, we feel like unsafe in our cities. But do you feel that in Toronto? Do you think like we are the biggest city in Canada, so you must be like you must take care about something or something like this that you can compare about Brazil and Canada between
Nah,
both?
Toronto's definitely when it comes to security and feeling safe. Um, Toronto's definitely one of the most easygoing cities in the world like that. Like you're not looking over your shoulder. You're not thinking, people out late walking by themselves is a normal thing. Um, it's it's a very secure place.
Great.
That's one thing I would say. I mean, just like anywhere else, sometimes you got to know where you're going, but for the most part, you don't have to worry.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, it's
Victor?
no, it's incredible to see how how incredible is. I was saying how incredible is that Sammy that came to Brazil and traveled by himself to Rio de Janeiro by himself, and he could have this experience with a little bit Portuguese and speak English in a place that not everyone that speaks English. So this is to encourage people, the Brazilian who doesn't speak English very well, that they can go to Canada to study English there, because the best way to improve the English is, we know, that stay in the place, in the country that speaks the language, and in a safe city, safe country. So that's the message that when I see some talking about this, is to encourage people. Oh, I don't know English, I'm not going to travel. No, travel. It's a safe city. You have a little, right?
What I was saying, Vitão, is about like Sammy just spent a few days here and already learned some words in Portuguese. I was saying that the same as Sammy come to Brazil and spend 6 months here, he's gonna be able to speak Portuguese. It's the same as when we Brazilian people we go to Canada. It's the same thing. We just have to go there and have not only the classes but the experience, and to spend the English, or in the Sammy's case here, practice the Portuguese and improve more and more day by day. So it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, what you're saying is so on point, Murillo. Like, as I start to get comfortable and just as I start to like understand more, now that I'm trying to, and so Portuguese is the first language I'm trying to learn other than English. So I've never learned another language. Well, I mean, they try to teach us French, but that's if you've been to Canada, you understand that that's not really a lot of people don't speak French. So if you want to learn French and you want to come to Canada, then go to Quebec, go to Montreal. But
it's true. It's true.
Is the first language that I've really tried to start learning, and it's intimidating. Learning another language is intimidating.
So is it even hard to
you can translate that for anybody who's on here.
It's even hard to you guys to learn French.
I find Portuguese, more difficult, and I've never really committed to learning French, but the French that I did learn was easier. Portuguese is tough, just in terms of my mouth doesn't even do those sounds. Like, it's just
you have to use the nose as well.
The nose, and it's different. It's a completely different thing. But and just like anything else, like, you understand more than you can say, but then you start to understand more the more you say. Right? Yeah. It's just it's tough. It's intimidating. I don't like to try to speak. Like, I understand. Like,
Portuguese is a hard language to learn. It's
you're not saying the words right when they come out of your mouth. You're not saying the words properly when they come out of your mouth. You're like, this doesn't sound like how it's supposed to sound. But
yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's the challenge of learning another language. And Sam, about Brazil, about the food, is it? What about the experience about food? What can you say about it?
I like to eat, man, and I like that food out there. And of course, the Baiano food is also like special, right? They have their own thing going on too. But yeah, what was my thing? I like macaco stew. That was my thing. I love that stuff.
Moqueca.
I like that. That stuff was great. What else do I love? I like what else did I like? I mean, there's tons of food out there.
Yeah,
When we went to
but how about there, Sammy, in Canada? Do you have a traditional, like traditional food or something like this?
um Toronto and food. I mean,
Don't say
Canada.
poutine. Don't say poutine.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Poutine is not
Canada.
a food. It's a junk food.
Yeah, poutine, as it's called, as the French call it, poutine or poutine.
Poutine.
Um, that's how the French would say it. You need, you know who you need for this call for that one. For the poutine, you need Frank.
Oh, if Frank start talking here, we're gonna finish tomorrow.
But the thing about Toronto is, a lot of us have brought our own food to Toronto. So, a lot of us, we end up eating a lot of other, food from a lot of other cultures. I mean, in Brazil, you guys have a lot of sushi. Your sushi's amazing, and that's it's because of the Japanese culture out there. They have sushi here too. But so for me, my parents are Caribbean culture, so there's a lot of good places to get Caribbean food here. So we eat a lot of that. Um, so I would say that, but we Italian food, Portuguese food, Greek food, Middle Eastern food.
You
Get a
can
lot of
find
different
whatever
types
you
of.
want.
In Toronto, you get it all. You
Yeah,
get it all,
it's
and
true.
everybody eats all of it. It's just like, what do you feel that tonight? So
Great.
yeah.
So,
Some love spice food.
Baiana food.
Very spice. Jamaican food. It's almost
Yeah,
impossible to
yeah,
So,
banana food.
Baiana food is so delicious. I'm missing so much. I have to go to Bahia soon.
soon for
Yeah,
sure.
So,
yeah.
Sammy, another question
Mm,
is, I think one of the biggest tricks for Brazilian people to go to Canada, that is about the weather. So you
mhm.
told your family is traditional from Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
So how is that for you guys, and also for people who come from like tropical countries to adapt it to Toronto weather?
Um, that is so that is probably it's an experience. You have to open yourself to different experiences, right? There are people who end up loving the winter, and stuff like that. They like to do winter activities. Vito did a lot. Vito went snowboarding. You know, he did a lot. He made the most of the winter and stuff like that. I remember when he was here. Um, that's one of the things. So there are different activities you can do uh, to keep yourself going. And also, a good thing about the winter is it's a nice time to get cozy. So if you can make it comfortable. I'll tell you this. One of the nicest things in the world is when you're someplace warm and you look outside and it's cold, and you're like, "Wow, I'm inside and I'm warm and I'm so." That's a great feeling.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
it is.
It's actually a great feeling. It's hard to explain it, but it is. But yeah, um, there's always a good side. Now, personally, I don't like the winter. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean,
Yeah, some
but
doesn't like the winter. I could enjoy more than some the winter.
that's because I got no choice. You know, I've been here my whole life,
Yeah,
and
it's true.
you know, so if you come here for a couple years or 6 months or whatever, you know,
That's fine.
you
And
might be able to find something you like, and then
and
you go,
and,
then you leave.
and another thing that I think Brazilian people are so afraid to go to Canada because of the winter, for sure. But they
Mm,
don't know. Most of them don't know that the city is totally prepared to the winter.
yeah,
So you will not feel anything if you are inside some. You just feel the the cold weather outside. So you
You
don't
know, I
have
remember,
to be afraid.
remember when Cisa came last time, Vito? And at first she
Yeah,
was very
true.
cold, but then by the end of it, she was like, she was, she
Yeah,
was, she didn't
we
care. Like it was,
we
It
we
was the
have
first
Mhm.
the first time
posted one
the
video
first time that
here.
Cisa went to
In,
Canada, Victor.
yeah, in our Instagram, we have posted this video that
Mhm.
Sisa she gives her testimonial about the experience in Canada because the first couple days she was like, no, I just want to stay at home. I don't want to go out, just to stay at the hotel. And she wanted us to get the Uber. And no, how come? How come? And in the end, she was like crying and walking
Yeah,
the
I want to stay
snow
yeah.
here.
and doing
She was,
and doing
she was
the what's the name? Ski? What was it? Was
skating,
ski?
ice skating,
Skating,
ice skating.
ice skating.
Yeah, yeah. She didn't want to go
ten
home. She was,
days, 10 days, 10 days,
she
just 10
by the
days.
10th day, she didn't. She was like, she wasn't even happy to go home to her warm weather. She was really, really liking it. So,
Yeah. It's
you know,
true. It's true. It's true. Sam, one student, he sent a message, one former student from UMC sent a message to our Instagram.
mm,
One question for you. What
mm,
are the tricks, he said, what are the tricks né, or the tips that you can
mm.
give to someone to get a job in Canada? Do you have something to say, some suggestion?
Well, I mean, you know, it's actually like everything else, right? It's like it's like getting a job in Brazil. It's like, you know, Vito, how are you and I and Murillo speaking? How are you and I and Murillo speaking?
Oh, by internet.
No, but networking.
By networking.
Ah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Network, you know, and
Mm.
and when you start networking, when you start putting yourself out there, and that's that's what's going to make you. You're going to be put in a position where you're going to need to use your English, and the thing is, you'll make friends. You will. You'll meet people who want to help you, who are like you, who like you, and that's the way this world works, you know. And so you can do it in Brazil, you can do it here in Canada, you
What an
know.
answer, Sam. I have to say to you that I was not expecting an answer like this because it's all about networking. When you talk
Mhm.
about traveling abroad, do exchange program, it's meeting people as well,
Mhm.
not just learning. You're gonna learn to
Oh yeah,
practice. You're gonna practice with people. And as
exactly.
we were saying, we have I'm friend of your friends now. The Brazilian, we have a group of WhatsApp that we still talking. So
Mhm.
I have a referral in Toronto now. If I am applying for some job, I can put
Mhm.
Sam's name there, and some
Mhm.
can even receive the call and say good
Mhm.
things about me.
Mhm.
So it's more opportunities to get a job. It's not, or he can recommend me to someone who needs some want to work. Besides Sam's place, there is a restaurant, and Sam became friend of the guy. And I'm pretty sure the guy wants he will need someone to clean the dishes if needed. And I would do that. Of course, I would do that to live in Canada, to stay if need, of course I do that. So
Mhm.
network is very important to be placed to get opportunities in everywhere,
Yeah,
as you said.
and
Mhm.
it's nice to say that, Sammy, because it's nice to show to the guys that is you have to do the same thing here in Brazil and also in Canada and in whatever you go. It's quite similar. There
Yeah.
is no magic.
Hmm. You know, to maximize, right? That's what we're trying to do, right? Wherever you are, you want to maximize, right? And um, the thing about it is, you know, if you want to come to Canada, then I just say come. If you think that that's something you want to do, you know, especially if you're young, you know, you know, and you got your life ahead of you. I'd say, you know, it's not really just come, just do it because it's going to enrich your life. It's gonna make you stretch. This is what you this is what you have to do. You have to stretch, right? And you're gonna the same skills, like I said, the same skills that you develop in Brazil, you have to develop here.
Yeah.
And and you know, Murillo, you and I are developing. We've met each other. We're developing a relationship. I've developed a relationship with Vito, and
Yeah.
that's opened up these different opportunities for both of us.
Yeah.
It's been
Sure.
mutually beneficial. He's been able to come here. I've been able to go there, and that's what it is. And the thing I would say that really is great about most Brazilians and the attitude of at least the Brazilians that I've met is that they're very open people.
Yeah, that's true.
They're very open people, and that type of attitude, that type of mentality. I mean, Brazilians are hardest, as you guys say, on themselves.
Yeah, but
But with everybody,
I feel the same about Canadian people, Sammy, because
but with,
you are open and also polite. So
mm,
if you don't like something, you say that in front of me. You don't have to say in my back, you know.
mm, mm.
So
But we
I
are
when
not
I went there, I
very
feel
open as Brazilian, right, Murilo?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they are
Yeah, the
more
culture in Brazil
polite
is
than the
actually even more
Brazilian,
open than Brazil.
and they
Yeah.
are not open than Brazilian.
But the thing about it is, right? Everybody's, you know, different, and
Yeah,
there's different, you know,
cultural
uh,
as well.
culturally, and then there's individuals. Just because Brazilians are more open, that doesn't mean every Brazilian's open. Just because
Yeah.
Canadians are, that doesn't mean everyone is like that. But at the same time, it's like um, the general attitude of Brazilians. They go far. Like, I mean, there was I don't know what it is why I meet so many in Toronto. Maybe it's because of where I live, but I met so many Brazilians. Like I meet Brazilians all the time here in Toronto, and it's like you know, and they're always making their way. You know, Vito had a choice. You know, he decided to go back, but he was stuck whether he was going to stay here or go back. The opportunities were at one point they were kind of the same. You
yeah.
know, so
When I got
that I would
back to
say come.
Brazil after 1 year, 2 years, people, how come you got back to Brazil? Because I came back in 2011, and we had
Your
the
microphone is so low.
oh, okay,
Então,
okay, okay. And now, deixa eu
try
melhorar
again.
aqui. Ok. E agora, melhorou?
Yeah.
What up, DJ Awesome? I just seen
So,
him going.
in 2011, I was in Canada, and we have the huge expectation of the World Cup and the Olympic Games. And when I was in Canada, I went to the event. That's the problem when you go to too many places. And in this event, people, the speaker was saying that Brazil is the country of the future. Now is the time of the Brazil, World Cup investment, all of this. And then my start talking to me like, Vitor, oh, I'm opening a company here. This is opportunity. So, and then I decided to go back to Brazil. It was actually 2 good years, 2011, actually 2012, 13, and 14. But after the World Cup, the Brazil went down. But it was the great choice that I could have done because I still work for UMC. I'm still traveling to Canada, and I live in Brazil with my family. It's very difficult to live abroad when you have a very when you are very close to your family. And the moment of life is difficult.
And you don't live only in Brazil. You live in Bahia. It's much better than only in Brazil.
And I know that I can stay 6 months in Canada, work in Canada, as everyone can do it nowadays. That's the point. People can work online. As we talk networking, networking don't need to be face to face. Actually, it can be face to face online. So you don't need to be in Canada to make business and to live. You can stay in Canada, make business in Brazil and whatever. So it's much more easy nowadays for everyone.
I got a question for you, Murillo. I got a question for you. When were you in Toronto or Canada?
So sorry?
When were you in Canada?
In 2015.
2015.
2015 Toronto and 2019 Vancouver.
Vancouver. Okay, so you were So there you've been to parts of Canada that I haven't been to. So there you go. So because Canada's huge, people don't realize, right?
Yeah.
So so what is it that is there anything in Toronto or Canada or that you didn't get to do that you definitely gonna do next time you come back here?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I want to know more about the night of Toronto. Yeah,
The nightlife?
I didn't go out when I was there, so
Okay.
I want to know a little bit more about the night.
Nightlife, the Toronto nightlife. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I know that you are the right man for that.
Well, you know what, man? I'll say this: it's changing. You can see I'm a little.
Yeah, I
You know
understand
what I
you.
mean?
No, but
So,
Sammy knows the places at college. Remember the pubs.
yeah, things are different. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different types of nightlife. You know, just like anywhere else, right? Just like Brazil, São Paulo. You know,
But no, but in Canada, if you go out and then you can see him on a house, and sometimes you can't imagine that there is one huge party inside.
Yeah.
Remember the last time me, you, and Cissa, Sam, that you
Yeah.
you introduced
Oh
us
yeah.
that-
So when I took them, I took them to my friend DJ Awesome is on here. He's watching us too. This is a Toronto guy from Toronto. He was just talking. He just said the world is changing, and it is. You know, for us, it's interesting in our part of life. We're going through a different stage of life. I'm in my 40s now. So what happens is, you know, the scene is different. The scene has changed. So some of it's, you know, it depends what you're looking for. You know, I'm sure some of the people we're talking to, they would enjoy going out on King Street. King Street's where things are popping these days. You know, a lot of the young kids are out. If you're like a little bit more mature like me, you know, you might go to some other little places, the little hole in the wall spots. So I did take Vito to I took Vito to Kensington Market. And there's a little,
Yeah,
you know, a nice little people know it around there. There's a little kind of like little club, little pub lounge called Poetry in there. They do a lot of live, you know, they have a live band there every day of the week, and you know. And my man GZ said, you know, DJ Awesome said you can still find some good house parties.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the one that I'm saying, DJ Sam.
yeah,
Housing parties.
What was getting big too was just like in Brazil, the Sunday afternoons, right? Sunday afternoon parties in the summertime on the rooftop. Those are nice. Rooftop parties.
Rooftop barbecue and beer.
Oh. And there was even a party we did. My man just reminded me he's throwing a lot of stuff in here. So DJ Awesome, he's again another guy here. He's a DJ here. Toronto. He's been DJing for a really long time. Some of these guys, these are friends of mine. I'm a baby DJ. When I say that I DJ, I'm on hour 3,000 of my 10,000 hours. But guys like DJ Awesome,
welcome,
these
DJ
guys
Sam.
have been doing
Welcome.
20 years of it in the trade, and they're like pros, you know. But yeah, and so there was a little party last summer, just a little when they opened up a little bit. We had a little thing in an alleyway. So you know, we're creative. You know, people will get it done. Again, just like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Come out. You know, don't be scared. Speak to people. Make friends. Make friends. It's just make friends. Be good to people. You know, people will be good to you.
Perfect.
And then And
And
then
another thing that is that you
you're
said,
gonna go
Sammy,
from there.
the,
Yeah,
the, the other thing that you said that is Toronto is multicultural. You
yeah,
are not only know Canadian people, but you are gonna know Canadian and American and European or people from
hmm
many countries in
hmm
Toronto.
hmm
So just make friends.
make
Yeah,
friends. You know,
yeah.
that's it. That's
Just have
it.
fun. Yeah, it's
Just
true.
be good to people and do right by people and just the simple rules in life. Like
Yeah.
nothing fancy,
I think we
right?
can
And
finish this life with
yeah,
this. With this, be good with people. Be good with
hmm
people, and
hmm
travel abroad, and help others. And then the things will. The world is
it will flow.
changing. The life is changing
Things will flow your way,
when we help
and
others.
yeah, yeah, that's it. And that's what we did. You know, Vito, you've helped me. I've helped you. We don't even have to say all the ways it's been, and it's been a blessing, and that's what it is. You know, and so if you want something that's positive, again, you have different opportunities. I say do it. If you got the opportunity, go ahead, do it, and just like I said, keep an open mind. Try to meet people and be good to people, and the rest will flow.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
that's the
So,
point.
so
Don't be
Sam,
shy, people. Don't be shy.
thanks
Just
so
go
much,
ahead.
so much. Thanks, Murilo, to hold me with this talks. The first UMC talks with Sam. Thanks, Murilo.
Um,
Thank you,
You're a great
all
guys.
right,
guy.
y'all.
Sammy, it was a
You
pleasure to
got
And
see
it.
you, man.
and
All right.
Sam,
Uh,
thanks so much. The Brazil is waiting for you.
yeah,
They
yeah.
can the Brazilian, hey, all the Brazilians that are watching this live. When you go to Canada, if you want to meet Sam, please, please talk to me. That I'm gonna send some cell phone, and he will for sure talk
Yeah,
to you, give some tip,
no doubt.
go out, drink a coffee, because exactly what he's saying, helping people, right, Sam? This is helping each
No
other,
doubt.
helping people, be good with people, be good with you first, be good with
Mhm.
you, and that's that's it. Thanks so much, guys. Love you guys.
Thank you,
All right.
guys. See you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Sign in
Yeah.
stamp. So